Okay, we are now live. Welcome, everybody. This is the Premier League preview show. I'm absolutely delighted to have James here and Phil. Welcome, guys. How's it going? James? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm fine, Owen. How you doing?
Very well, thank you very much. Tell our viewers about you, James, and what what you're doing. What are you doing here, James?
Okay, so I'm a writer for Friends of Liverpool, the football website, and I've also written for some other football websites, also aligned with Liverpool Football Club. And I'm just doing my broadcast journalism masters at the moment, so I'm just completing that in the next month. And I've been doing journalism for 4 years.
Fantastic. Excellent stuff. And Phil's here. Great to have you with us, Phil. Thanks for joining us as well. Tell our viewers about you, sir.
Yeah, so Phil Standish at Twitter. I'm just part of the FPL Hub group. We do a podcast once a week, and Owen's asked me to see if I could join tonight. So I am a Man United fan, so apologies to everybody who's listening. But I've been asked to give a different point of view, I think.
No, it's absolutely brilliant. In fact, Hella's in the chat. Hello, Hella. Great to have you with us. Hella is also a Man United fan. So there you go. It's 2v2 at the moment. And I don't know who else the other viewers are, but do.
I know, Hella. Hi, Hella. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah. Great. So, excellent. We got tons to talk about. Josh is going to be joining us as well, Chelsea fan. So we're going to wait before we get into, probably the biggest clash, isn't it? Chelsea against Man City for the weekend. But let's start now that Phil's here. I'm absolutely delighted that Phil's here. Oh, in fact, here is Josh. Hello, Josh. Welcome.
Okay. I'm more better than I expected, so that's already a success.
No, you've done very well. You've done very well indeed. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Great to have you with us. We're going to start with a Man United game. Actually, no, because now you're here, we may as well start with Chelsea. Yeah, let's start with Chelsea. Manchester City. Holy moly, I'm excited about this one. So is Angela. Look at her face. She's excited. Chelsea, Manchester City. So, Josh, I mean, you're the Chelsea fan in the house. You've got to be delighted with the way things are going, right? I mean, top of the league on alphabetical order, and you've actually had, I don't know if you've noticed this, someone pointed out to me the other day, Chelsea's results have exactly mirrored Liverpool's. So when we win 3-0 at home, you win 3-0 away. When we win 2-0 away, you win 2-0 at home, etc., etc. So, but you've got to be delighted, Josh, so far. Tell us about how you're feeling.
Yes, it's been a very, very good start to the season. I think what Tuchel has done, since he came in over Frank Lampard, compared to how we played under Frank Lampard, compared to Thomas Tuchel, was incredible. I remember analysing that game at the King Power, Frank Lampard's last Premier League game, and I actually, my eyes were bleeding watching the formation and the way we were trying to play. And Tuchel's came in, he's given us identity, he's given us a style of play, he's made us a very positive team. I know you disagree with our style of play, but I will disagree with you. I do still think our style of play is actually quite nice, and it is improving. It is going to take time, but yeah, we're even in games where we've struggled. We've struggled against Aston Villa, but both games. We struggled the first half against Spurs, but we're still coming out and we're getting 3-0 results. We're winning on penalty shootouts. So everything's going the right way, and it leads up to a very good game against Manchester City. But people call me a bit strange, but I'm actually quite pessimistic about the City game because I've kind of learnt with Chelsea in particular that when Chelsea are favourites, whenever they're seen to be the ones to win, it just never ever goes well. And always thought, we were favourites to beat Arsenal in the FA Cup. We got absolutely, Arsenal outplayed us that year. We were favourites. We were favourites against West Brom at home. We shit 5 to them. It's just never good that Chelsea are favourites in the game, and it makes me think. And listen, Man City lost to us in a Champions League final. They've lost to us 3 times. That gives them the extra incentive to come to Stamford Bridge and to try and make their mark. especially after the disappointing result against Southampton. So I don't think this game is going to be as easy for Chelsea as some make it out to be. It's going to be a really, really interesting battle, but it's a game that I am quite nervous for. So I'm up for work at 3:30 in the morning. So it's going to be a long wait until that Chelsea game. So God help my nerves. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah, because Josh is a baker, so that's why he's up before the crack of dawn. He's sort of, I don't know what's before a crack, like in the flat wall of pre-dawn. I don't know. Phil, you're a Manchester United fan. Delighted to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
From your point of view, what's the best result? Is it just a draw? Or are you like me thinking that Chelsea looks so dangerous? There's a little part of you that might be thinking, well, if Manchester City win, that might even be better than a draw. What do you think?
Yeah, I did start to think about it. I did think that maybe a Man City result might be better for us. But at the end of the day, Man City. They've got a great team. They've had some good results already this season, some bad results, a bit up and down. But I don't think they're going to have any more 0-0s. I think that was a blip. I'm sure that Pep will be quite upset about that. I think that with De Bruyne back and things like that, I think they're going to start to really start to perform, and I think a draw will be the best result for all of us.
Fair enough. And how do you? I mean, are you scared of Chelsea?
I'm not scared of anybody. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to look after your own house, look after your own team. You follow your own team. You want your own team to do as good as they can. I think Chelsea, absolutely, there's no denying it. They've got off to a really good start this season. They're looking sharp in games. The 2-2 from Hella. Oh, that's interesting. She'll take the draw like that. But I think she's probably not far wrong there. I think the fact that there's going to be plenty of goals scored. Although I would say that Chelsea have shown that they've got a good, resilient defence as well this season. They're looking strong. They've got a good, strong, solid squad, not just strong up front or anything like that. With Lukaku, obviously, the difference he makes, and I think the team are just doing really well together.
I think at one point, Phil's point. I think a big thing for Chelsea is that Mendy is fit for this game, just to add to that resilient defence. As I don't get me wrong, Kappa's been doing well, but I think Mendy being in there just makes things slightly a bit more relaxing, because you never know what Kappa what he can do.
I think you saw the difference when Kante was off until half time. It was 0-0 against Spurs, and I think, to be fair, Spurs last week dominated the first half. Chelsea were lucky to go in at 0-0 at half time. But the second half's a completely different game. Spurs should have took the lead, should have made it a different game, but they didn't, and the opportunity was gone. Tuchel made the change. Kante came on. Game over.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's really exciting. I'm really excited about this one. James, how are you feeling about this one? Chelsea, Manchester City. I mean, both teams are very strong, but Manchester City, they had one shot on target in the Champions League or something. I don't know what the hell's going on there in terms of up front, the number 9. Chelsea looking really good, of course. I don't know. How do you see this one going?
It's a difficult one to say. I actually think it's going to be similar to the last two occasions, because those two matches, there was a lot on the line in both of those matches. So wasn't it? I think it was the FA Cup and also the Champions League. And Chelsea came out on top in the semi-finals of the FA Cup and came out on top, obviously, the Champions League final. There's a lot of pressure on Man City for the Champions League. There's just such an awkward system that Thomas Tuchel plays that Guardiola doesn't like. And that's why I think Chelsea, also the home advantage at Stamford Bridge, I think they're going to nick it again 2-1. I just think that there's a lot of psychological pressure on Man City because, yes, okay, the other team is hurting. They've lost the last few times against them. But I think Chelsea will want to win this just because everyone's saying, you're the champions of Europe. Can you win the Premier League? And I think that they are, same as Liverpool right now. They've surprised people with the start they've made because everyone's talking about Manchester City, everyone's talking about Man United, Jack Grealish and Jadon Sancho. But actually, I think Liverpool and Chelsea are both being quite quiet in the summer. Obviously, Lukaku, but both sides have been quite quiet.
Lukaku.
I'm saying that both sides have kind of like got on with their business and both of them have backed up the points. So I think 13 points at this stage is quite respectable. But I wouldn't rule out Man City altogether. I wouldn't rule out a draw. But I don't think Man City will beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Well, okay. It's I mean, it is curious that style of play. I mean, the three at the back. I'm a big fan of it. I've been a big fan of it for a long time, really, because it allows your defenders to make mistakes because they got two people covering behind instead of just one, and that's huge when you've got players who are likely to sometimes make a mistake. I mean, Christensen has been in great form. But he has got history of making mistakes, as has Rudiger, and Thiago Silva, of course, is he's about 53 years old, isn't he? I don't know.
37. 37.
Almost, yeah. Okay. Right,
37.
well,
37 2 days ago.
wow, there you go. Happy birthday. There you go. But yeah, in terms of the system, it is developing, and it's not as turgid as last season. They have got some, pretty floral patterns when they go forward. And it's not always about, bringing the ball back to, places where teams don't want to press. And then if they press, then it leaves space that they can then eventually exploit. If the opposition team doesn't leave that space, then Chelsea will just keep knocking it back and around and this kind of U shape backwards. But it's definitely changed when it's evolved a little bit. And I want you to tell our viewers a little bit about how it's evolved, Josh. This style, how is it? How come Chelsea are attacking more at the same time?
Well, to things point of view, obviously when Kante came on, when Kante came on, it allowed the fullbacks to get much further up the pitch. So it's all about transition. It's all Chelsea aren't going to be like Man City and keep the ball and build possession. That's not what we do. But we're very much a team that likes to move the ball quickly in transition, get the fullbacks high on the pitch, force the team back. And then have the middle two /front two of Lukaku kind of being very direct and getting the balls into the box and playing. It's all about quick transition. Even though the first half against Spurs was not particularly amazing, Chelsea still played some really, really good football, and they got at Spurs at times. Just the final ball wasn't there. In the second half, Chelsea's football was really, really, really good. And to Harry's point, yes, Alonso has been a very key point. He nearly scored an absolute incredible goal against Spurs in that second half, which Lloris had to put off a wonder save for. It's the wing backs are very key in the system, and the fact that we have such a good middle two / middle three core with Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic, and lets the front three and the fullbacks be really, really creative. You see Rudiger overlapping from the right hand side. It's so hard because it's so hard for teams to try and mark all of these players because there's so many players coming from very different positions, and that's what makes this team very, very hard to cope with on the attack. That's why we've scored as many goals, and Lukaku's putting away those chances that Ferder and Havertz and Giroud were missing last season. So it's I think one thing that you can never be more happy about is a balanced football team, and that's exactly what Chelsea are right now. They're balanced. They're not all on the front foot. They do their job defensively and do it very, very well, but attacking wise, they're a threat and a scary one at it.
Well, there you go. That's a wonderful summary. Yeah, sorry, you got a question? Anybody? No, that was just in my mind. Excuse me. Plenty of creatures in my mind to talk to me from time to time. No worries. Just to remind ourselves, Chelsea 3-0 against Crystal Palace. They opened up the season with 3-0 against Palace, then 2-0 away at Arsenal, then the 1-1 with Liverpool, and then 3-0 at home to Villa, and last week, of course, 3-0. Perhaps a little fortunate against Tottenham away. Great result, though, nonetheless. The other, Hella was saying in the chat, how annoying is it that this match is on at the same time as United? Why 2 lunchtime matches? And there's one thing about... Yeah, I know, yeah, me too. It's a band called the Cortinas. I've never heard of them. I never heard of anyone these days. When I see, like flyers for festivals, I don't know anyone, unless they're from the 90s. I don't know who they are. But yeah, apparently there's a band called the Cortinas, and they've got a gig at Old Trafford
That's right,
that night. So there you go. But let's move on to Old Trafford. Let's move on to this because at the same time, this really intriguing match is Man United Aston Villa. And what are your? I mean, Old Trafford, Man United, 72. I was looking at the average attendances. I think Old Trafford 72,700, something like that. It's surely going to be a home win. Phil, are you feeling, as confident as a teenager on a BMX?
Well, however confident a teenager on a BMX is, I'm not sure. But in terms of United versus Villa, I think that United, think they've got to win it at home. They obviously had some good results so far in the league building up to this. Against Newcastle, obviously the 4-1, the Ronaldo debut, that was such a highlight. There couldn't be anything but. West Ham was a bit of a downer last week. I mean, obviously we got the final goal with Jesse Lingard. It was written sort of thing. But I just think that we need to up our performance level. We saw it. All right, we played a weaker team. I won't say a weak team against West Ham in the cup in the week, but should have done better with the result, but just couldn't. 27 shots, but 6 on target, and not really 6 quality shots, just 6. So I think to have the first 11 back, I think we should beat Villa. We've got a good history against Villa. I mean, I know they had a good result last week against Everton, 3-0. I've heard that Liam Bailey may be out. I don't know whether that's true or not. That's obviously he was the new signing, and he's got a cracking game last week against Everton. Obviously they lost midweek in the cup, so they'll be a little bit down and want to come back against us as well. So I don't think it'll be an easy game. Ashley Young, whether he comes back and he's got something to prove, you don't know. Matty Cash played really well last week. He had a great game. So it's far from cut and dry. There's rumours that Cavani's back. I don't think he'll be starting. But yeah, I think that I think we should get the win, but I don't think it's good. We need to come out the traps. We're too slow coming out and get it started in a game. Everything's like wait till a goal's scored and then we just step up 2 levels and then score and then drop back down again. It's just so inconsistent. We just need a solid start, get an early goal, and or get 2 early goals before half time, and then we should have no problem with the rest of the game. But with Ronaldo there, he'll have rallied the troops, and obviously we saw some of Fernandez's tweets after the cup game in the week and stuff. He was just annoyed, and it's not the way that United want to go. We've got to get out there and prove ourselves again. Young boys, the game the other week, terrible. All right, we lost Wan-Bissaka, but still, it was a poor performance. So get out there, back at Old Trafford, fans behind us, 2-0 win.
That's. I mean, I like it. The thing for me, Phil, is that United are very, very clinical. I like looking at XG, not because I particularly love XG as a metric, but it does show you how many chances you're creating, right? And United, I think they're third on roughly 9.7 shots, great chances created, in total in I think 9.7 XG, and then your actual G is 12 or 13 or something that you've scored. You've outscored your XG because you have Ronaldo and you have Greenwood, basically, 2 really clinical things. And I hear millions of podcasts. I'm freaking addicted to podcasts and YouTube channels as well. And loads of people who are not United fans are writing United off. You're probably aware of that, right?
Yeah.
But the argument for United, just the argument for United actually confounding the critics is the fact that you don't need to create many chances. You talked about the 6 fairly decent chances you created in midweek. Had they fallen to Greenwood or Ronaldo, the chances are they would hit the back of the net. So
yeah, I agree with that.
I think if there's a chance that United are going to sustain a league challenge this season, it's going to be that. It's going to be on the fitness of Ronaldo and Greenwood, and that they're just going to keep being clinical and clinical and clinical. Is that a realistic scenario? Something you can? I think
it is. I mean, obviously Ronaldo has made an immediate difference, immediate impact. We've got to remember that Cavani's been out, who was immense for us last season. Rashford still out. Cavani's supposed to have trained this week, and there's rumours he might be on the bench tomorrow. I don't think he'll start. I think he'll be on the bench. Obviously, Rashford's getting closer to a comeback, which is good. That is a lot of firepower and a lot of difference out your squad. Rashford back in a few weeks. Thank you, Hella. Brilliant. But yeah, so and that's exactly what we're waiting for. You know, Martial, he just didn't look on the game at all in the week. You know, he had his chance. He didn't take it. Donny showed some glimpses of what we expected of him. Sancho was starting to get there bit by bit. Sancho was not expect. You know, we put a good message out in the week, a tweet saying something like step by step or something, or small steps. And it's great to see that he doesn't expect, you know, he's not throwing his dummy out spitting his dummy out from his toys out the pram sort of thing, saying like, oh, it's all over. I'm not getting in the squad, or I'm not starting, or, you know, and because of how much we did to get him, the fans haven't turned on him, which is a good start. And they shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it's like 5 games in. He's not played 5 games. He's just featured in 5 games, and he'll get there. He's just got to adjust to the pace of the Premier League. The fact that it is a bit rougher, he hasn't got the same space that he had at Dortmund, and he'll get there. We've got a really good squad. We've just got to make it work. And we know that our weakness is defensive midfield. We know that transition from the back to the front, whether it's a breakdown, a pass, a tackle, a through ball like Carrick used to play, or Scholesy, those kind of balls, we're just not seeing enough of that. And that's, you know, we've got, when you look at the team, we've got Pogba, Fernandes, Ronaldo up front, Greenwood, Lingard. You could say Martial, because the thing is with Martial, I'll just say this quickly, he didn't play well in the cup and he didn't fight for it. You know, Bowen played immense for West Ham, and even Noble played better. But Martial, when you when you put these second teams on, if you like, and then you bring the bigger stars on like Fernandes and Greenwood, but then you take the players off who didn't, you know, were the chances created for them. You know, Martial's not the sort of person, apart from that debut game against Liverpool where he went out, scored that wonder goal. That's what he's lived off for so long. He's not really done that too often. I think we've got a good team. I think we can do it, but I just think, it's you know, I think Martial's going to be gone, as Hella's saying again. He's going to be gone in.
Yeah, loads of interesting comments coming in. Thanks for all that, everybody. Hella is saying that Martial's been given permission to talk to other clubs and he'll be gone in January. D-Stars just saying very simply, Ole out. And James, I want to come to you about this one. Ole, he gets stick, of course, from Liverpool fans, just as Man United fans are quite happy to give us stick. And rightly so, we are rivals and this is our job. But Ole, what do you make of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's comments that everybody is interpreting as a dig at Jurgen Klopp when he said that a particular Premier League manager has put pressure on referees, and since Klopp said something, it was at the beginning of January last year, I think Manchester United have had 5 penalties and Liverpool have only had 2. So I don't know, James, do you think Ole's, the pressure's getting to him for saying something like that, or is it just something that he just a throwaway comment and we're making too much of it? What do you think, James?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think he has a lot of critics, obviously, because he hasn't had as much managerial experience as the other main rival managers in the league. So he's already at a disadvantage in that instinct. But he is building a job. There's a building job. When he arrived, I think it was the end of 2018. They didn't have anything near the kind of team that Liverpool or Manchester City has. But now their team is on a much better level now. They've got Jadon Sancho, they've got Varane. So they've got a much better team now. And you can see it as well. They're playing with confidence that at Old Trafford. So the last 2 league matches, they've blown those 2 teams away. So it was 5-1 the opening day against Leeds, 4-1 against Newcastle. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen against Aston Villa. I think they'll kill it 4-1. Which is not their problem. Their problem isn't in the Premier League. Their problem isn't, winning at Old Trafford. We've seen them win games 2-1, 3-1, and basically get 2 goals in the final 10 minutes. They can do that, and they did that last season. I think they racked up a lot of late points because of late goals. So they can do that, but they don't get criticised for those wins that they just pull out of the bag. That's because they're expected to win those matches. But I think the pressure is coming on him because they haven't won a trophy for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want trophies. So the fact that they're out of the Carabao Cup is not a good start. Probably wasn't what they wanted to win anyway, but that's not the point. The point is that they lost to West Ham very early on. Was it the fourth round? So that's the point. That's why he's got criticism. And then young boys, everyone's like, well, you lost to a group of boys. So that's the reason he's getting criticism.
Yeah.
Because people didn't see that coming. But I think that you have to give him time. I think he does need time because Jurgen had time. It took him 4 years to win the league. So yeah, I think some of it is deserved because they haven't been able to pull it out the hat at the crucial moments, like at Villarreal. Everyone thought they were overwhelming favourites to win that. So I can see the criticism in some ways, but in other ways, I can see that these players need time to bed in. So if Sancho takes to the end of the season to hit his straps, then that would make sense. But I do think that, let's be honest, they're on 13 points right now, just like Liverpool, just like Chelsea. So they're literally locked on at the top of the table.
Yeah.
So as far as the league's concerned, that's going well for them. So I think they've got no worries ahead of this match. But I think that their main issue is Champions League. If they don't top the Champions League group, then I will be worried. But yeah, I think that I wouldn't worry too much if I was a Man United fan.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. There are interesting comments coming in. D-Star says, if any other Man United manager had spent over 400 million and went 3 years without a trophy, they would be getting hammered by everyone, including G. Nev. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he does divide opinion. Where do you stand on Ole? Either his latest comments or you know, like it just more in general. Josh, I want to ask you from the outside.
Well, first of all, I think one thing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done very, very well for Manchester United is even if he doesn't become successful on the pitch, what he's done off the pitch in terms of the rebuild at Manchester United. You think about the squad that went to Anfield a couple of seasons ago, you know, it was an atrociously bad squad. And just Pereira in the midfield, Phil Jones, Martial was up front, Phil Jones was still in the squad. It was just Brandon Williams was left wing back. It was a horrendous squad. So I think what Solskjaer has done in terms of rebuilding Manchester United to put them in contention to be a team that should be up there fighting for titles again is a tremendous stroke from him, and I think he deserves massive credit for doing that. And I think he's a big part of why Mason Greenwood has also become the player that he has. So I think Solskjaer does deserve his praise and accolades, but I do think as a tactical manager, I don't think he's the one. Phil might disagree with me. I still don't think Manchester United have a style of play under him. And I think his in-game management isn't particularly good. He doesn't change formation mid-game. He'll stick with the 4-2-3-1. He does like-for-like subs. You can tell on the sideline he isn't trying to motivate his team on. It's either McKenna or Mike Phelan kind of doing all the animation stuff on the sideline. And I just don't think you think about Pep Guardiola's CV, Tuchel's CV, Jurgen Klopp's CV, even Nuno's, you know, what Nuno did at Spurs, and then you look at Solskjaer, you just see there's a massive gap between the tactical intelligence between all these managers, and I feel like he misses out in those, and it's just one of those things that I just don't think he's good enough to be in Manchester United. And as much as the Carabao Cup's the Carabao Cup, it is a Mickey Mouse trophy. I don't think anyone truly cares about it, and realistically, at least as you know, the bigger teams who are in Europe. But it is still a trophy that United could have won this season, and I think losing at home, regardless of the team that was put out, is a really, really bad result. And West Ham had their reserves out too. United reserves should be beating West Ham reserves, so it's still in that hindsight not a particularly great result, but. Nuno still did a very, very good job with Wolves. You know, he may not be doing great at Spurs, but he is still a better manager than Solskjaer is. I think that's clear, at least in terms of a CV too. But I just, I have to throw a controversial opinion out there somewhere, don't I? That's what I do.
Please do. I mean, it's encouraged.
But I just don't think United have a style of play under Solskjaer. I think he sticks with the 4-2-3-1. He sticks with McFred. He still plays Lindelof more than he should. He still gives Martial chances. It's just, I think his treatment of Van de Beek has been incredibly bad. I think Van de Beek I think I know Van de Beek when he plays, he doesn't maybe take his chances as much. But what confidence does he have when Jesse Lingard, who should have been sold in the summer, is getting picked over you when you've been there? When you've been there with a longer preseason. Wolves finish it. Wolves gone to Europe twice, especially the first year promoted. Hell, remember they could finish 7 going to the Europa League in their first season in the Premier League. So I just don't know. It's a really hard one to call. He's going to be given time. He isn't going to be sacked anytime soon. I think if they go into the Europa League again, yes, maybe the panic buttons will start being hit. But it's just something about Solskjaer. I just it's like Frank Lampard and Arteta. I just don't see him being able to turn things around or going to be able to live up to those expectations. And he's up against some very, very good teams and managers. So it's a really hard one to call. It really, really is. We've been saying this for bloody months now, and the guy's still on the job, so he's clearly doing something right. But that's why I just don't think they have an identity under him, and I just don't see where their improvements happen. I just don't, compared to his first game, as full-time manager to where he is now. There's the same problem still alive, from in-game management to the formation to tactical changes and stuff like that. I just don't think he's as good compared to the other managers, and I think at some point United would have to try and get a better manager in to compete.
Well, there you go. Okay, well, there you go. You've heard 2 opinions from the outside, Phil. So from the inside, where your passion lies with your club. What do you make of him, Ole?
Yeah, I think Josh is right on a few points, but I think for myself certainly it's Ole in. I back the manager. I think what was said earlier. I think he's rebuilt Man United the way it's meant to be. He's built it. He's dealing with the under 23s with the development of those. You're seeing the youth coming through still. You've seen the development of Greenwood under him. It's been fantastic. The management of him, even Donny van der Beek, I know he's not been given his chances, and I feel that he should have been given more. I think Fred he brings something to the game, but he's just got too many errors, and he still doesn't have the ability. It's just the errors that highlight. There's an error in almost every game, and that's what always lets Fred down. It's not like he has. You get some players who will have a good game. And then maybe a bad game out of 3 or something. Fred has great moments in games, but never really has a great game. So you do question why Donny isn't getting that starting position. But I think Donny played well midweek in the cup. Apart from his position for the goal, I think he was out of position, and it wasn't just him, but there was others. It was just a bad goal to concede. When you look, it was 3 or 4 United defenders went in for that one ball and just left it open for a free shot at the net, which was always going in that. And I just think that, I just think that Fred and Donny, I think Donny's been given his chance maybe with McTominay. Matic has still got the mind, but he's not got the pace. I think McTominay's got desire, and he'll fight for every ball to the very last kick. I think it's just sorting out that defensive midfield. I know Josh said that United haven't got a style of play. It might not be the style of play that the fans want, but the 4-2-3-1 is his style of play. As you say, you said it yourself. That is his style of play. The fans wish that in the games against lower teams, if you like, that he would move away from that and really push from the off and try to get 2-3 early goals and frighten teams again. But he doesn't. He seems to play chess with them. He does have this fear, and I think it goes back to last season. We knew there was mistakes in the defence. We knew that, unfortunately, there was moments where Lindelof and Maguire just didn't marry together too well, and there was mistakes, and they didn't quite read each other's game. And Varane's come out and said, despite Varane having such an amazing start, it's unlucky that 2 goals that have gone in against us have been deflections off him. But he is that, and I was saying this to someone in the week, if those deflected goals had gone in off Lindelof, there'd be a different perspective from the fans. Oh, Lindelof's, let's let these 2 goals in or whatever. But Varane's getting there and block. He was unlucky. And it's about perception, it's about changing that. And Varane's come out himself this week and said how him and Harry Maguire, they've got a long way to go to learn each other. Him and Ramos were together for 10 years. They learned each other's game through that time. And we know that we are, all right, we might have spent this money. Somebody commented earlier, D-Star commented about the money that's been spent without a trophy. But at the end of the day, you've got players who are just coming into the squad. I mean, Ronaldo just joined, settled straight in. Sancho is going to take time to settle in. Varane hasn't took long. He's starting to settle quite quickly. Donny, hopefully we'll see the better of him soon. Fernandes, and every player that Ole's bought has shown development and improvements for the team, in my opinion. Josh was saying that he's still giving Martial a chance and things like that. I don't think he is. He had his chance in the cup, and I don't think he'll get another one for a while unless Ole's seen something on the training ground that we've not seen. And as I say, it might be that he links up better with other players like Pogba and Fernandes if they're playing the ball through to him or they want him up front. But with Cavani back as well, I just think Martial's getting lower and lower down the pecking order. And as Hala said earlier, he's probably going to be sold very soon. So, yeah.
But you wouldn't say that that's the flip side of the training thing. Yes, he's developed. You could say a lot of players, Bruno Fernandes, Wan-Bissaka, but I don't know. There are lots of question marks around. For example, Daniel James never worked out. Alex tell us we don't know. I don't know.
I think you've got too many in the same position. It was trying to get that thing. I mean, obviously Luke Shaw, he's developed so much. He's just become phenomenal, and that's made a big change to the back line as well. Phenomenal. You've got Shaw, Maguire, Varane, three solid defenders, and Wan-Bissaka's game's getting stronger as well. Okay. There was that one against Young Boys on a normal pitch. I'm not sure what would have happened. Plastic pitch, he went over it. It wasn't a dirty tackle. He's not a dirty player. It was just an unlucky one where he's gone over a bit late, and it looked a dangerous tackle, but it wasn't intentional. I think Ole still has that concern, as I say, because of last year where there was a lot of mistakes with the defence, that he can't just have one in front of the back four. He likes to have two. And I think he needs to move away from that. I think he needs to just take some chances, take some risks, even if it's second half of a game or start a game with it. I don't know. We just need to get the fear factor back, and we've not got that at the moment.
Can I add some points to that?
Is that me who's gone, or is that Phil who's gone there?
Oh, that was me.
Can you hear me? The rest of
you? Can I add something?
Is it me?
Owen?
Oh, hang on. What's going on? Whoa! Everybody, I disappeared. Was it me who disappeared? Did you disappear? Who disappeared?
Technical fault.
Technical error. There you go. The stars. We got a really good question here. I got most of what you were saying. It's just the last few seconds you cut out there. But no, it's really interesting stuff. Really good question from D-Star. Would you have taken a quality DM over Ronaldo so that maybe you could have played, just one holding midfielder and attack with all the great talent?
I don't think we could. I don't think you could pass up the opportunity to get Ronaldo back. It's simple as that.
Okay.
There's just no way. Absolutely not. We need a defensive midfielder, but we've got players who can do it, but not great. But Ronaldo, you've seen the difference he's made, the impact. The players are talking about it on and off the field. There's no way I would not pass up on Ronaldo.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to say that Ole has actually got the most out of most of those players, especially Luke Shaw. That is a masterstroke, how he's been able to make him the best England left back at the moment. Mm-hmm. But I do think Van der Beek is a big disappointment. Like, Phil, you have to see that he is not the player that they thought he would be from Ajax.
He played further forward, didn't he? Played in position.
A bit like
you guys keep talking. There's someone at my door. This is very professional. Hang on, you guys keep going.
Okay. The guy at Barcelona in midfield that came from Ajax as well, Frankie de Jong, I think it is. Yeah. Everyone was thinking he's along the same lines. He's going to be like the main player in midfield, probably Pogba's replacement if he leaves. But really, I'm finding that you often need Pogba or Fernandes, and actually Ronaldo in that match against Newcastle. You're often relying on these special players to kind of carry the team. Yeah. That's what we're seeing. We're not seeing the whole team perform. I don't think we've seen for many, many weeks or months the whole team play well at the same time.
Well, I mean, I've seen moments in games. I mean, not for a whole game. I think I can't disagree with that. We've had some games, obviously, where we've thought, that was absolute quality game. But even in the Newcastle 4-1 game, it wasn't all cut and dry. It wasn't a straight 4-1. That Newcastle had their chances. I mean, I know St. Maximin is quality, but at the end of the day, you've got to cut those chances out, and we didn't. There is still mistakes in the team. There's no denying of that. And I think Ole's just trying, he's finally getting to the point where it's now his squad. As Owen said earlier, we've bought all these players, and you said yourself as well. I think it's now his squad, and he now needs to mould that into how he wants them to be in those positions. And I think there's just one missing piece is the defensive midfielder. Can't deny that. Fred isn't the finished article for it, no way. Matic, younger version of Matic, probably, yeah. Rice, I'd love to have him, but whether we're going to pay 80 million for him when we're after Haaland at the same time, can't see it. But there you go. That's the missing piece for me.
Do you think that he needs to win a trophy this season, though, to stay in the job?
To stay in the job, I think he needs to win a trophy this season. Whether it's to stay in the job, it just depends. And this is my honest opinion. Depends on injuries. If there's no injuries and he doesn't win a trophy, no big injuries that keep us out for a while, and he doesn't win a trophy, then yeah, I think he's going to be at risk. Unless he has already got an agreement with Haaland that he will be at the club because he's got this big connection to him. And will that keep him in a job? That's something I'm asking about in my own mind.
Great stuff. Heather says the problem with getting a quality DM is that it's going to cost. She wanted Neves or Bissouma. He's my dream signing. Hands off. As soon as United came sniffing, the price doubled. Sorry, James, go ahead.
Sorry, I was saying, is Heller a Man United fan or a Liverpool fan?
She's a United fan.
Yeah.
And
she's more than welcome. Yeah.
I'm going to say, I'm going to say just keep it short. I think the fact that we've been able to talk about 25 to 30 minutes straight here on Manchester United shows the massive divide over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer between the whole football fan base, not just the United fan base. I think it shows the question marks that are over Manchester United, but I think on the other scale, I think it's something that I think Phil's going to like. It does show Manchester United are up there again. They're competing again. They're a team to watch out for again, and they're a team to be worried about again. And that's something Manchester United have seriously been missing for a while in the club. That they should never, United should never ever have been in a place where they weren't up there. So I think I think United fans are happy that they're being talked about again, no matter if it's about the manager or not.
Yeah, it's very well said. It's very well said. And on that note, let's just very quickly give you the Aston Villa team news that Leon Bailey is actually definitely out until at least at the end of the international break. But we are going to move on because we only got 18 minutes left. I'm only going to do an hour. We're only going to do an hour, but we're going to get onto our team, James. Brentford against Liverpool. All right. It's an exciting one. We haven't played them since, dinosaur times, since Triceratops were roaming the earth. But they're a really exciting team. Everybody loves them, from a neutral point of view until you end up playing them. And I reckon it's going to be really tricky. What do you think, James?
I think this is a bogey match, actually. I think it will be a difficult match. Brentford beat Arsenal 2-0 on the opening day. And yeah, we know it's Arsenal, but still to do that in your first Premier League game is pretty spectacular. So I don't think they're no mugs, and Liverpool will have to play a very strong team and not underestimate them, because that could easily be a 0-0 or 1-1, and it's like, well, there's your momentum gone. Liverpool fans are going to get angry, get frustrated, and get on top of the team, say Mane's not finishing or whatever. And then you hear those kind of things, So I can see that happening, but I'm hoping that they can use the momentum that they have been building to win this. I think tactically, Brentford will play a lot of men behind the ball. They're going to be very defensive, so Liverpool need to try and catch them on the counter-attack. And I think Mo Salah's in such good form right now that I think they're relying on him to win this match.
Yeah, Mo Salah's in unbelievable form. Wow. But Brentford, let's talk about Brentford for a moment, Phil, because they're 1-2, drawn 2, and lost only 1 in their 5 matches back. Yeah. Their first, their recruitment policy is unbelievable. How they use their players, the role of each player seems to get the best out of all of them. I thought Norgard is really impressive. What might surprise a few people, because it surprised me, is that they've only conceded 2 goals so far. And 2 goals in 5 matches, and they're 9th in the Premier League. For example, ahead of Villa, ahead of Leicester, ahead of Arsenal, Of course, ahead of good teams: Southampton, Wolves, Leeds, Crystal Palace. They're ahead of loads of them, and it's just really, really impressive, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah. I don't think it's bad luck either. I mean, they've got this passion, this style. They did really well in the Championship last season. They've come up, they've carried on with that form and that belief. I mean, Ivan Toney is some player. He's a big lad, and Buemo, another good player, and they both played well together in the Championship, and they're playing well together in the Premier League. When you saw Ivan Toney last week, he could have had his hat-trick against Wolves. And then even when Brentford played against Oldham in the week with the reserves, they still put 7-0. I know it was against Oldham, but the point is they are scoring, the confidence is high. I agree about Liverpool expecting Salah to win the game for them. I think they've been like that for a long time. If you took him out, I asked the question the other week in the FPL Hub podcast, if you took Salah out the team, do you think that you'd still be anywhere near as confident for winning the league? Or for doing well in the league even, because he is by far an outstanding player. Certainly at this moment, the form he's on, everything he touches seems to turn to gold. I think Liverpool will definitely score, but I also think that Brentford will score as well.
Possibly. Liverpool have only conceded 1 goal in 5 matches so far, though, James, and that's something that's really, really nice. That it's incredible. It's a great testament to the players. I mean, even last week we had this crazy back four. I don't think they even had each other's email addresses, let alone had played together on the field. But most of the time it's fairly settled with Robbo, Virgil, Joel Matip and Trent, and I imagine that they're going to start again as the back four, and it's just incredible that Virgil just comes back and immediately the clean sheets start again, and immediately Liverpool suddenly flick back to their sort of 1920 dominance. Are you feeling as sort of bubbly and frothy with excitement as I am?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of arrogance going through the team when you know that Virgil van Dijk's in your back line. You think, okay, we're going to get a clean sheet today. And I think that's the thing, is when he was out from October last season for 8 or 9 months, that's exactly why everything was crumbling. It was literally like draw, lost. Well, there's 6 consecutive defeats at home. That was one to forget. And that was because they didn't have Van Dijk in the team. But having Van Dijk and Salah in the team, you've got 2 world-class players there, 2 absolute, A-grade winners. So I'm surprised, to be honest, because he looked in a bad way when he was doing the rehabilitation program. And then in the summer, it looked like it was, I trust the Liverpool medical staff. They're probably one of the best in the world. So I knew that that this is not going to be an easy recovery, but he's made it look very easy. He's literally I didn't think he was going to play in the opening match. So the fact that he's been able to come back straight away and hit the ground running, he's done very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a delight to see him spraying those long passes as well. It's such a key element of our game. I mean, he's averaging, I think, around 7 long passes per match that are longer than 30 yards, and 7 accurate ones, something like that. And it's extraordinary. But yeah, going back to your point, Phil, about whether if you take Mo Salah out of the team, that will have a really huge effect on our title challenge. I think you're right. But I think Sadio Mane is showing a lot of signs of an evolution, I want to say. I'm not going to say he's back to his best, because he's changed. Like, he's lost the ultra fast burst of speed that he was able to get in the past. He's lost that a little bit with time and with age and with playing these, he hasn't been injured really in 4 years. He's played about 60 games a season, really. And it's crazy how strong he's been, but how that fatigue has had an effect. But then I see lots of other elements now where his runs are more intelligent, and he's still got that way of, you never know which way he's going to turn. And even though against I forget the opponent now, was it Leeds? I can't remember. He had 10 shots in one game, and he only scored one, and they were either, dribbling on the floor to the goalkeeper, or they were, miles wide, really wild shots, or just, completely messing up. There's something about having 10 shots in one game that is absolutely superb. So yes, Mohamed Salah, he's got 4 goals and 2 assists in 5 Premier League matches. And that is unbelievable. You can't replace that. That's, world class. That's Thierry Henry. That's, Van Nistelrooy form. That's, you name Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, touche. He's got pretty much the same record, hasn't he? But no, I mean, it's like if Bruno got injured, for example, of course you would miss him. Of course you would. But I do think the rest of the Liverpool team, Jota has this, clinical edge to him. I do think we would still be in, if we can keep the rest of the team injury free, we would still be in with a good shout of, at least top 4. But yeah, Mohamed Salah is just a joy to watch. Alan's in the chat. Hello, Alan. It's great to have you with us. He said, I don't know why, but I think this is going to be a 5 or 6-0 to Liverpool. There you go. And D-Star says if Liverpool stay relatively injury-free, they've got to be up there as title challengers. Totally, absolutely. And Hella says VVD has struggled against only one player so far this season, Haaland, when Norway played the Netherlands. Yeah, I saw that match. And yeah, you're right. I mean, Holland, oh man, whoever gets this guy, oh man, they're going to be instant favourites for the league, because that guy is just, dynamite. He's beyond dynamite. He's nuclear fusion. It's extraordinary stuff. But there you go. With Brentford and Liverpool, there's Thiago's injured, Keita's injured. So Curtis Jones is probably going to come into midfield. Do you see Liverpool, maybe James, Liverpool having a bit of an injury crisis in midfield, or not yet?
That's so interesting. I did actually predict that. In the summer, I said Gini Wijnaldum leaving, sell Shaqiri, 2 first team midfielders, and get nobody in. This is what really angers the Liverpool fan base, is when they feel that FSG isn't investing in the team, and they're thinking, okay, well, everybody else is going 100 million, Sancho, Varane, and then Man City with Grealish and Lukaku pretty much 100 million at Chelsea. Why haven't they joined the party? And it's like Saul as well, who went to Chelsea. That was another example of a player that got away.
Yeah, but I've got 2 words for you, though, James. I've got 2 words, Harvey and Elliott. I would have Harvey Elliott over Saul, and of course...
He's still a very young player anyway, though. I still think it's a lot to put on a young player's shoulders to be like, oh, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, you guys are going to replace Gini Wijnaldum. And I think that's ridiculous. It's like, hang on a minute. You've got Basuma there, or I would have taken the Lyon player, Hossam Ayer. I don't know how to say his surname. Maybe Phil knows, but
yes,
yeah, I would have taken him. And it's like he was going for 30 million. He is one of the best players in Europe right now in that position. But I'm surprised they haven't got anyone. And yes, okay, they're saying that they want to make a move next year for Jude Bellingham, who is a world-class player, absolutely world-class. I'd love to see him at Liverpool. But we can't wait. We can't just sit around and wait. They need to get them now, because we did have the defensive crisis last season, and now I think it could be the midfield. It's obviously being pessimistic, but Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, they're very injury-prone, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, interesting. From the outside, Phil, what do you think of it for Liverpool's midfield? Was it negligent not to sign anyone now that we've got, Harvey Elliott obviously out, and Thiago and Keita already? It's only game week 6.
I think it's always negligent. You can always look back, when you get an injury, you can go, oh, we've only would have bought somebody. At the end of the day, you've got the January window not too far away already. And I think you've got enough in depth to be able to carry your team at the moment. I mean, you've mentioned yourself, your Firmino, Mane, Salah, Milner, who just keeps going. He is a quality player, you can't deny it. He's older, but at the end of the day, you have got some youngsters as well. But I just think that for whatever reason they've not backed the board. They've not backed the board. Haven't backed the team. Sorry. Any set of fans are frustrated when you get through a transfer window and you've not seen your team strengthen. Even if you think your team won the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the treble, if they won that, and you still think, well, you still want to strengthen because others will. You just naturally want that, and if you don't, you have to question what's going on. Why not? We're putting this effort in. We've won all these teams. It's not going to carry on like this. I mean, obviously at the moment the board are probably rubbing their hands. We've not spent any money. We're top of the league. Everything's going great. What's the problem? He's not going to start losing matches just to get some players. So at the end of the day, everyone's just going to keep fighting for the places. And if they come out at the end of the season with a trophy, did they need to strengthen?
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff, and it's great to have the outside point of view in it, because this is something that has really divided the Liverpool fan base very much. But there you go. So, I mean, just to finish up then, I mean, of course there are other games in the Premier League, but who gives a monkeys? Because we've talked about the main ones, the ones that we're all excited about, and of course, there's a little bit. I mean, I will say that I do think Everton have got it up. Have got a really big challenge against Norwich, because I can just see them losing, and that would make me laugh. But anyway, just the last questions then. I just want your predictions. So Chelsea, Man City first, the first game we talked about tonight. For me, I'm gonna say it's really hard. 1-1. I'm gonna say 1-1. What about you, Phil?
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with what Hella said before. I'm going to go with 2-2. I think there's going to be goals. I think there's going to be mistakes. I just cannot see it being a game of chess at the beginning. It's going to have to be straight out, and I think it's going to be a really good end-to-end game. Excellent stuff. What about you, James?
I think it's going to be 2-1 to Chelsea. I think they'll nick it. I think Man City are afraid of them. They do fear them, especially what happened in the Champions League and the FA Cup. So I think Chelsea are going to nick it. I think it'll be close.
There you go. Another victory for Tommy Ball. What do you think, Josh?
I don't see Chelsea winning. I just think City are going to have really off this game 1-8.
Okay, yeah, very good. Okay, excellent stuff. And the next game we talked about, Man United Villa, without Leon Bailey. Without Leon Bailey, Man United Villa. I think United will have too much. I think Danny Ings is going to score. I think he's going to give Maguire and Varane the run around a bit. But I can't look beyond that United attack. Was they might only make 4 chances, but they'll score 3. So I'm going 3-1 to United. Let's go in reverse order. Josh, what about you?
I actually think Phil's going to get a point here. I just think Aston Villa are playing really, really well at the moment. They do typically show up in these types of games. They should have got, when we played them in the league, it wasn't a 3-0 result. Villa deserved to get something out of that game. I just really like them, and I think they're due to get a big result against one of the bigger teams at the moment, because they haven't been playing particularly bad against them. So I think they'll win. I don't think they'll win. That's a lie. I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be a 1-1.
A 1-1 draw. I did see amazing stat I didn't see before. Just that Aston Villa. I didn't tell you before, but Aston Villa have picked up just 1 win in their last 45 Premier League games against Manchester United, which is absolutely crazy. So there you go. So they're winless in their last 17. But James, can Villa, get a point or even an elusive win, or is it United that's going to go with the favourites?
Yeah, I think Man United will overpower them at Old Trafford in the league. So I'm going to say 4-1, 2 for Ronaldo.
Wow, 4-1. There you go. Lots of fantasy Premier League players will be happy with that one. Phil, are you? You're, as you said before, you're feeling bullish about Man United.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4-1. I think there's going to be definitely goals. I think we'll concede. I think, as you said, Danny Ings. I think he'll probably score. He just seems to do that, and he is a quality player, no matter what you say. But I think with the likes of Pogba, Ronaldo, and Fernandes, and Greenwood, and Cavani, we've just got too much firepower with a bit of something to prove after what's gone on in the last week, and we'll just come out guns blazing with all the fans behind us, 3-4-1.
Yeah, I can see that definitely. There you go. And the last one then, Brentford, Liverpool. I think Brentford, Liverpool, it's a real tough one. I think it's going to be one of those last-minute James Milner penalty winners. I'm going to go 2-1 to Liverpool, but a firecracker of a game. What are you thinking, James?
I agree, actually. I think 2-1. I think it's going to be very close. I think Brentford will peg us in the first half, and I think it's going to be nip and tuck in the first half, and I think we might be able to sneak it in the second half. But I think Salah's going to score, and I think we'll probably need Diego Jota to get the second. So I think we'll get 3 points, but it's not going to be straightforward.
There you go. What about you, Phil? Brentford.
Yeah, I think it'll be 2-2 for most of the towards the very end of the game, and then I think Liverpool will nick it with the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Oh wow! In Fergie. Okay.
Well, I think they did a lot. They've done it a lot recently. They've changed their style of play, and they're nicking. I'm watching it on video print or someone thinking, "Come on!" And the next minute, Liverpool scores. He's like, "Shut your phone away!" It's done.
Oh man, welcome.
Phil, they couldn't do that against the almighty Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, so just.
That's true.
Well, yeah, sometimes the video printer's broke, I thought, but it's 3-2. I think they'll just nick it, unfortunately. I'd love Brentford to be the upset, but I just can't quite see it.
Okay, yeah, I mean that was my life in the 90s and the 2000s with Manchester United was so yes, I know the feeling. And it's great to be on the other side, isn't it? As you know, getting all those late winners is absolutely true. So, Josh, what do you reckon? Brentford, Liverpool.
I'm going to be slightly bored here. I think it's going to be 2-0 Liverpool. This is going to be Brentford's first proper true test, I think, in the Premier League. I think you look at some of the teams they came up against. They lost against Brighton to last minute winner. Arsenal was awful. They played Arsenal at a very good time at the start of the season. The better Wolves team who don't look very good. It's not the fact they don't look good. They just don't look like a team that is settled yet under their new manager. I think it's going to be the first proper test. I think Liverpool look back to their best. Yes, midfield's maybe a bit of an issue, but I still think you'll be good enough to go and get a result. Although I do think it's going to take maybe like a 60th and maybe an 80th minute goal. I don't think you'll score in the first half. I think Brentford will do really, really well in terms of pressing you and making it difficult for you. But you have the legs, you have the better players to bring off the bench, the better energy, and I just think you'll win this game 2-0.
Well, that would be nice for the old ticker for my heart, but we'll see what happens. Good luck to everybody. I want to really thank you guys. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thanks, Hella and Alan and D-Star and everybody, for getting involved. It's been the Premier League preview show. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any last plugs or anything they would like to do, or are you happy now you're going to watch?
All I'm just going to say is subscribe to Will on the come on. You listen to the podcast, listen to the YouTube channel. Very, very good guy, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much for having me. So I've got an early morning and a very busy day tomorrow because. Yeah, so,
good luck with the baking. Thank you very much, Josh. And yes, if you can give a subscribe, I really appreciate it. We are a very new channel here, and it's really been really good fun. But thanks a lot, guys. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much, and